Now much of the economy is driven by the states, not by the center. So in the budget, what we expect to see is not about these various reform measures which will put the economy back on track, etc. But, as was mentioned earlier, fiscal discipline, that's something that the central government can do, and it should do. The food security bill, the way it will be implemented is something we can look at. It cannot go away. The food security bill, it cannot be that they're not going to...
No, will it be put in a back burner today?
They cannot be put in the back burner. They cannot put it in the back burner. They
cannot?
No, but what he can do is redraft.
So why can't they put it in the back burner?
Because that would be politically... it's not a small group which is supporting it. There's a huge lobby supporting the food security bill.
No, but
the economic survey, that's any indication, said there should be direct transfers of subsidy.
That's different. So how they are going to implement it is what I want to see. I don't think they'll be able to, go away from the food security.
Shirajit, do you think the political compulsions will give Pranab Mukherjee the room not to look at the food security?
It will be a middle path. I agree with Shaukat when he says that, there will be dollops of reforms, there will be, the good words for the Aam Aadmi. So it's not going to be a big bang budget. The era of big bang budgets is over. So it will be a middle of the road budget.
No, 1 second. Let's get it. I want to come back to you, Swapan Dasgupta, on that. I think the talk on the food security bill will settle the way, because if the food security bill in its full form, the way that it has been thought of and drafted by the NSC is included in today's budget, then the story is over.
NSC is only one version.
So the point is headline tomorrow morning. My question to Swapan Dasgupta is, the opposition has tasted blood, the numbers are precarious. The government is staring at an unreliable Samajwadi Party, a DMK and a Trinamool which is waiting to walk out. And now if it goes back on the food security bill, the same opposition will turn around and say, look, they raised the expectations, then they let you down.
No, I don't think
You don't think so?
I don't think on the food security bill, I think people will be reconciled and will be quite happy if there is greeted with silence.
What about Sonia Gandhi?
The problem is inside the party.
Exactly.
It's inside the Congress party. The anti-reformist impulses of this government have come not because of opposition obstruction, but mainly because of contradictions within the own party. That's really what it is.
Will that change now? Will that change now?
How will it change? Do you think that I disagree with Rajiv when he says that the left wing of the Congress has been affected by these poll results. No. On the contrary, they say quite openly that it is because of the type of economics which Manmohan Singh and Montek Singh propagate that we've got these results. So let's go back to a form of pristine socialism of a idyllic era. Now that's absurd. I know that's absurd.
I mean, that's my worst fear, and I hope you're wrong. And for the country's sake. But
I hope I'm wrong too.
But just the thing that where I kind of disagree with you is that I think Arnab is right that if they don't do anything with the food security bill, the same opposition will turn around and turn on them, because they will seize that as the moment. Saying, because I talked to a senior leader of the opposition, he says the political class doesn't have the will to oppose food security, right? And
it's not about who supports, but who opposes.
Who opposes? I mean, they can't oppose it. So I think what he will do is to give some, token sort of support to the food security bill, which makes it clear that it's pretty much in the back burner.
So the way that can be done is, if you look at Narega was also not rolled out in its full form. You say, I'm going to start the food security bill in these 50 districts or in these 100 districts.
Can you do that?
No.
Can you do that? But that's not the way it's been planned. That's not the way it's been planned. Not this side.
I think NCTC and the food security bill, they'll say, well, we have to consult the states properly, work it out, the very sensitive federal issue. Because Jayalalitha has already said, I don't need this bill because I already do this. So, states will say, hang on, we will implement this bill, not you, and therefore he will say more time is needed to work out, and therefore
I disagree with you on that, simply because the presidential address had the reference to the NCTC, even at a time when there is so much opposition from states. Now, even at the risk of their own allies proposing amendments to the NCTC. Now, that is an example which shows that if they want to go ahead, and if it is the diktat of Sonia Gandhi and the Congress party's minimum program that the food security bill needs to go through, it will go through. The question is, will it be a token or will it be a large provisioning
It
which
has
will
to be
put
a
a button?
token. They've
They don't have
already
the money.
watered it down. You know, it's going only to two categories. In fact, identification of the poor is going to be the most massive challenge.
Yeah,
One can read the writing on the wall. This is money really going down the drain.
It's not the allocation of money that is important in the food security bill. What is important is he going to talk, or is the government going to change the way it is being implemented? The way it
How
is
can you
being-
do that overnight?
No, it cannot be done.
How can you do that overnight?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The way it is being implemented now, right, that we will hunt out the poor, we'll find them and all of that, it's going to be hugely corruption ridden. You know, you mentioned,
And they're just going to break each other's head of identifying whether you are the poor or you are not. I mean, the legal entitlement is on the grants for the
That's what I mean by corruption.
Hunt out the poor, not hunt down.
And you see, because there was some mention of the NREGS, right?
Yeah.
The NREGS was destroyed exactly in this fashion. The way it was first envisaged, it was a very good plan. But then people started putting in their things, they started watering it down, they started diluting it, you know, yours, okay, we'll do yours also, and the whole thing is in a mess leading to this massive corruption.
But
That is what I'm worried about.
But then the budget has a provision of over 40,000 crore for NREGS. Now,
That's
if
2 lakh crore, Ravika, so that's 2.5% of GDP straight to the fiscal
straight-
deficit.
exactly, and you add the
Coming
food
back-
security, the point is, will anybody in India
Actually,
ever
coming-
work for earning their, to
at
grow
the-
for bread?
Navika, that's unfair, they brought back Ram Rajya.
Look, the point is very simple. Some of the states already have
Exactly.
a measure of food security.
Yeah.
You have it in Orissa, you have
Exactly.
it in Chhattisgarh. These are quite effective
Also Tamil
schemes.
Nadu.
And
Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu also.
Tamil Nadu.
And the point is, now on top of that, you want a rigidly designed central scheme which wants to do one size fits all sort of principle, which always is the problem with this.
Which will have an inflationary
Which will
impact.
have not only inflationary, their design will probably be flawed.
No, the bank-
So the question
it'll bankrupt
today is-
it'll
question
bankrupt the-
today is, I just-
It'll bankrupt the public fisc.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at
Exactly.
it, it will bankrupt the public fisc. I mean,
America has done to
We have-
the job market, the labor market.
Let's get a perspective from Washington, how people are there are looking at it. We're joined by Barry Bosworth, who's senior fellow from Washington Economic Studies at Brookings. Dr. Barry Bosworth, do you see this as a make or break budget in terms of the global economic challenges like a slowdown? Do you think the Manmohan Singh government still has an opportunity to revive the economy in this budget?
I would like to, I think there would be merits to trying to accelerate the regulatory reforms in the retailing sector. I'm more reluctant to urge that regulation be accelerated, deregulation be accelerated very much in the financial sector. I think what India has been doing in recent years on the financial side has been very successful, and this need before you open up more externally to strengthen the domestic financial markets and institutions seems to be going quite well. It looks to me like India's got a plan for moving forward in the future, and I don't think that they should give in to outside pressures to change that too much.
What are the big announcements that you would be looking for really in this budget?
That's a little hard for me to say. I don't have strong perceptions on that. I do think that given the publicity that it's gotten, India has to do something about the corruption issue. So that would be one you would like to see. Second, I think a renewed emphasis on infrastructure measures and continued investment in that sector has offered very good returns in the last few years, and India needs to continue to do that.
Well, Dr. Bosworth from Washington, thank you very much. Before I go into a break, here's where the panel is looking like. The big debate today is, we look for the headline tomorrow, will this government be able to look back the NAC, Sonia Gandhi's NAC, straight back in the eye and say, sorry, not this time, we cannot afford to take our social sector spending any further from where it already stands. That's the big story. If they look back the NAC in the eye, that's the headline for tomorrow morning. Back in just 2 minutes.
मिस्रो रोमा सब मिट गए जहां से, अब तक मगर है बाकी नामो निशा हमारा. That was Manmohan Singh in 1991, remembered as much for his reform speech as for quoting this couplet by Iqbal.